Thank you for joining us on Up to the Minute. I'm Dr. Lana Pigao, Communications Director at HCC's Northwest College, and here's where you can find us. We are on the Houston City College District Facebook page and on YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and on HCC TV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday. For general inquiries or to share a story about what you're up to or your department's up to, you can email us at hcc.uptotheminute@hccs.edu or give us a call at 713-718-6395. Well, today we will be joined by two Houston area students from the Village School. They're here with a very important message for young girls in our area. Tatiksha Sharma and Alexa Mason are the high school seniors who are the founders of Project Flow, an organization to spread awareness and help and the stigma surrounding a medical condition that affects 1 in 10 women. These students are working to change that through education, access, and open conversation. We'll have that conversation in about 10 minutes, but first we want to have a talk with Mike Acosta, who runs a local website that wants to be your one-stop shop for all things Houston. Houston City Beat is a website that brings all things Houston and Houston-related events together. From leisure life to big business and from networking events to neighborhood cookouts, Houston City Beat is a go-to place for all things Houston. Mike Acosta is a multimedia publisher dedicated to telling Houston stories through articles, video, and live programming. He and his partner, Elizabeth, have created the Community Connectors Network and its monthly networking gatherings, bringing together entrepreneurs, small business owners, nonprofit leaders, and community builders who believe in collaboration over competition. Well, welcome to the show, Mike. Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, what is the impetus for creating Houston City Beat?
Well, Houston City Beat is a very dynamic media outlet. We're producing stories and features that show Houston where it's been, where it is today, and where it's going in the future. And it is very dynamic. Every day is like a Monday for Houston City Beat because we're producing content, about 400 pieces a month. So we're putting stories on the website. We're also putting them on our social media channels and engaging in the community. That's very big. You mentioned Elizabeth Newton, who was the founder of Houston City Beat, and she is very, very big on engaging with business people and just the community in general. So we definitely focus on that.
Great. Well, what is the goal for Houston City Beat?
Well, the goal is to be communications and media have changed over the last 25 years, right? And now we have the advent, you had radio a long time ago that came into effect. You have television, and now you have digital media. And everybody calls it social media, but it's digital media. And everybody's getting their information in the palm of their hands, your phone, if you have an iPhone or a Samsung. That is your living room television set of today. So you're getting news, weather, sports, all the interests that you love. Everything is not just part of legacy media anymore. So we've carved out a niche for us where we are focused on giving people in the community who have otherwise been cut out from having a voice in the community. Because if business owners, if they would like to talk about their business on a legacy station, and I'm not throwing them under the bus, but this is the way it is, they just don't have the budget to go do that. And they won't talk to them if they can't pay what these stations would like to have. And like I said, the reach is different now. The legacy stations are trying to catch up where digital media is today. And there is an adaptation. They'll never give that up. They'll never say, and that's why they say over-the-air television versus, what they call social media. But we really are in a digital media world now where Houston City Beat is combining radio, television, newspaper, and magazine to tell these stories.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think my children, I have teenagers and young adults, and I don't think they've ever read a newspaper or listened to a radio show, truthfully. They stream their music, they stream their content all the time.
Yeah.
So your Your website has a variety of events, stories, and news. What should folks check daily on your site?
Well, what we're doing is the main driver is the website. That is our home, right? Because if you don't have a website, social media platforms can go away theoretically, right? And so you can build audiences, and I'm always in the business of building audiences, but we also want people to go to the website and read these stories of what people are doing in the community and some of the other things. I mean, it could be from saving the Garden Oaks Theater, to learning about blood cancer research, to something on the Astrodome, or something that how to tell if you're being scammed by an out-of-town roofer, a storm chaser.
Right.
So we have all these things that affect different audiences in Houston. We try to keep our finger on the pulse of that, and it's an everyday effort. It really is.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are really busy.
We are.
Yeah.
We are. Yes, 100%.
So we all know that old phrase, it's not what you know, but who you know. What was the thought behind your community connection networking events?
So what we wanted to do, this Community Connectors, the Houston City Beat Community Connectors, is something that we wanted to do back 4 years ago. But I'm the type of person that just doesn't run with it, especially if we're going to be working and building relationships with people, because if you don't have the right logistics in place, then you're just not going to be able to foster the relationship. It's just going to be another idea that didn't work. So over the past few years, we've been building those logistics with building the audience and building business relationships with people in the community. And we found a great location downtown with the Met Athletic Club, which has been around for over 50 years. And they welcomed us in. We formed a partnership with them, and we were able to put together this group. And they're community connectors. They're people who are not just business owners in Houston, but they are actively doing things. They care about what they do. And there's a ton of people in Houston who are like that, but we're aligning with the ones that we can meet and the ones who are ready to go. Because there are a lot of entrepreneurs who go a little bit slower pace because they're at a different stage of their business than others. But that's where the community connectors are. We empower them. We have everything from commercial construction, law, real estate. There's a big group of people in there, and they're all wonderful people. They all have families. They some of them are very new to Houston. Some of them were born in Houston, and we meet every third Thursday at the Met Athletic Club, and we welcome everybody to come in. It's a mixer to begin with for about an hour and 20 minutes, and then we have a run of show type of presentation. It's an actual business meeting where we share success stories. They get to meet the community connectors in person. And we do a host of things. We have special guests that come in as well. So it's a wonderful program. It's designed to be about 2 hours on a Thursday evening. But it actually, people talk so long and they meet new people that they wind up staying till like almost 9 o'clock.
Wow.
Sometimes. Yeah. So it's very organic, which is I would say that's how Houston City Beat runs. It's very organic. We believe in personal connection with people. And I think that's something that is different with our form of media versus others, where a lot of people are just looking to get sound bites. We're really looking to build the relationship behind the scenes as well.
Yeah. I love that because I go to networking events, but I'm kind of an introvert, so I have a hard time with small talk.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it sounds like those are very successful. That
They
you
are.
have
They
a
are.
variety of folks there.
They are. And what we're doing too is it's kind of a thought leadership program in a way for the entrepreneurs that are there, because everybody's so focused on their business, they're not really focused on how to communicate. And in this world of digital media, if they're doing their own social media for their businesses, we're kind of giving them a little bit of training, for that, and how to speak in public, how to do their elevator pitches. And that's something that's really big for my partner, for Lisbeth Newton. And she's kind of drives that, and she's very engaging with the business owners.
Oh, that's great. Well, can you tell us some success stories from your events?
Yeah, well, we had just recently at our last March meeting, everybody that was there, not everybody can make every meeting, but we had some a business consulting firm that was there who was able to bring in. He's been trying to get one of his clients to come to the meeting, and he was there. And he's a very small business owner. He came straight from work. He was still in uniform, and he's like, "I'm sorry," he goes, "I'm not dressed for this meeting." I said, "No, you come on in, and it's wonderful. Tell us, what's going on, and great to meet you." We had a member another guy named Din Man,
Mhm.
who is the grandson of Roy Hoffines, who's
Oh.
former mayor and
Mhm.
county judge. And he's a good friend of mine. We're working on a partnership together. He has a media outlet called GoatNet, and he is they focus on a lot of collegiate sports
Yeah.
and such, but
Okay.
we're working on a
Mhm.
project together. And he came in and spoke about he established MLB.com Advanced Media, which is MLB BAM. So all the things that you see from all the baseball scores and everything, he pretty much established that many years ago. So he's very dynamic, just like his grandfather was,
Yeah,
that helped
that's
build the
great.
Astrodome
Yeah.
as well. So he was in there, and just hearing everybody has a different story,
Hmm.
and a lot of people feel like they don't have a different story. There's a new business called Vision One Detail that's in Tomball, and they've been around for about a year. They're a high-end detailer, and they have their general manager just moved from South Carolina. And he's asserting himself in the Houston area now, and he's doing a lot of great things. And they have these car shows, and he's focusing on the Houston car culture scene. So they just had one a couple of days ago, and we were out there and we did another video and a story on them. So they come from all walks of life.
Right.
We're not just focused on one area of town. We're
Mhm.
we're focused on the 10 county area that make up the Houston metropolitan area.
Right. Well, you have a special relationship with the Astros. I was at an
Mhm.
Astros game last Friday. It was exciting. They didn't win,
Yeah,
but it was fun to watch.
they've won four in a row now.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. So, what do you think their chances are this year?
So I think that, I think the Astros, if they play well this year, they have a chance to win the division, but I think they're probably going to be looking more at a wild card, and hopefully they can get about 89 to 90 wins this season. I think they're good enough for that. They certainly have a lot of power in the infield, a lot of depth, like I said. They're young in the outfield. They have pretty good pitching, although a couple of the guys didn't have good outings the first week. But we've seen some great pitching over the past since the day after you
Yeah.
were there Friday, and then the win streak began on Saturday. So they they're finding their way. They look strong, and I think they have a chance to be back in the
Mhm.
playoffs, and that's what you really want. As long as you get there healthy and you're not overextended when you get into October, you want to have momentum as you move
Yeah.
into that extra month of the season.
Well, they definitely have dedicated fans. I was very impressed with the fan base
Mm-hmm.
that was at the
Yeah,
stadium.
yeah.
Well, when I was moving here, people were telling me, "Wow, Houston, there's the famous Summit where the Rockets play, and there's the Astrodome." And I got to go to the Astrodome one of their very last games,
Hmm.
which was really cool. And I mean, that's the Astrodome is technology and innovation
Hmm.
that's been copied. What would you like to see happen with the Astrodome? Because it's just sitting there, and it's a shame that it's just sitting there.
Well, the Astrodome is a multi-level political issue, and that's really what it is. And it's not really seen by the public. There's two things. First off, I want to see the Astrodome be reopened. I would like
Mhm.
to see it rehabilitated. It's a state antiquities landmark. It has protection from demolition or any type of major changes. It stands in the same speak as the state capitol or the
Mhm.
Alamo, for better or worse, or whatever anybody thinks of that. And it is something that was a catalyst for Houston. It really put Houston on the
It really
international stage, right? And everything that we see today in all these new stadiums, you look at Las Vegas, you look at LA and all these fancy stadiums, and really the ones that came about in the late 80s too,
Mhm.
they were all, spawned off of that idea that the Astrodome started in the 60s, and people took it for granted after a
Mhm.
while. But the Astrodome has been shuttered for the most part, you know, since like 2009. I
Yeah.
think the rodeo had its hideout there for the last time in 2009. You have at least 1 to 2 generations of people who've never been in there.
Yeah.
But I know that every time somebody goes in there, they're amazed
Mhm.
because it's the only structure of its kind still today
Yeah.
that looks like that when you walk in. And so I would love to see it reopen for public use. But if the Texans, and I'm not throwing anything out there, but I follow this very closely. If the Texans in the rodeo leave NRG Park because they're in the midst, they've been in the midst of a stadium negotiation that a lot of people don't know about
Mm.
for many years. Either renovate NRG Stadium or move elsewhere. And I've
Mhm.
been saying to a lot of people, don't be surprised if the Texans move their headquarters, and now they're moving their
Oh,
headquarters. That's kind of testing the waters
yeah.
for how the public would perceive a stadium.
Hmm.
Because a lot of people they're like, oh, we don't want to pay for a stadium. We have one here. But a lot of people don't realize the logistics of keeping that large building up to date. And there's a reason why the roof doesn't open at NRG Stadium, and I'm not going to say why, but put two and two together.
Yeah.
Mechanics and stuff like that. So but that takes away from the glitz and the glamour
Right.
of what we see publicly with the sports teams and the rodeo. So if they do move and they get a new stadium elsewhere, then I think the talk of the Astrodome is reopening back as a stadium and hosting maybe high school sports and concerts. And it has to be a complementary piece to NRG Park. If they stay there, then I would love to see the Astrodome be converted into a multi-use entertainment center where you can have a Hall of Fame in there, you have a brewery, you have retail operations, you have fans that get a game day experience in there while the Texans are playing there next door or another stadium on site. And the same thing for the rodeo. There's so much flexibility that could be done there. The Astrodome is such a big Texas symbol. And you have the football team called the Texans, and then you have the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, which is about Western and Texas heritage. So it's a natural brand tie-in, to put the Astrodome into these two organizations. But like I said, it's a political thing. The rodeo and the Texans have been looking at long-term sustainability, so that they don't want money going to the Astrodome until they have their stadium issues settled.
Right. Well, as we wrap up, what's in for the future for you and your website?
Well, I think we're going to continue to grow. We're reaching good audience numbers. We get good engagement digitally. We're just going to continue to expand the audience and continue to work with new people across Houston. Like I said, Houston City Beat is a very dynamic media platform, and we're just going to keep steaming forth ahead, and pushing forward and engaging with people in the community, going places, and of course, it is what you see on Houston City Beat is created organically and originally just by us with Lisbeth and I. We will hope to expand to have staff and people out there, camera people and people doing stories in the city. So that's the horizon. But the main focus is to continue building community and engaging with people that are here in the city doing great things.
Well, thank you. Mike Acosta, he is from Houston City Beat. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We look forward to checking in on your podcast and your website. We'll put a link to your site in our show notes. And we will take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about a very important issue confronting women all over the world. We'll be right back.
For over 50 years, HCC has been here for you. Affordable, accessible, focused on your success. This is your college, growing, evolving, expanding with you. More bachelor's degrees, stronger workforce training, online learning with global reach. A new name, the same mission, bigger vision. Houston City College, local focus, global reach. Register now at hccs.edu.
Our individual voices are powerful, but not everything has a voice. Let us be a voice to the voiceless. It's time to speak up for nature.
Poison Help is a free 24/7 hotline that answers all of your poison questions in over 100 languages.
Hello? Poison Help?
Hello? When poison happens, we're here for you. Just call Poison Help, 1-800-222-1222.
Welcome back. In the United States, more than 11% of women in their reproductive years have endometriosis, which affects more than 6.5 million women. The condition is especially common among women in their 30s and 40s. Those symptoms often begin in adolescence. We have two high school seniors who want to spread awareness of this and have founded an organization to raise funds and end the stigma around endometriosis. Tatiksha Sharma and Alexa Mason join us to tell us about their efforts. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Hi. Well, Tatiksha, can you tell us about the Flow Project and what inspired you to start it as senior high school students?
Yeah, so the Flow Project is our initiative towards combating period stigma. It includes our fundraiser, which has already raised $2,000 and donated 20,000 pads to Houston area women's shelters and underfunded orphanages in India. It also includes our book about endometriosis, which attempts to combat period stigma from a young age. What really inspired me to start it in high school was In my culture, there's a lot of stigma around periods that I've had to face for a long time throughout my life. And when my younger sister got her first period, I realized I was not equipped to make sure that she was healthy and happy during her menstrual cycle. I was home alone with her and I didn't know what to say to her or what to do. And that's when I realized that it was a change that I would have to make for both myself, for her, and for my community.
That's great. And it's a scary time for girls because we may not know what's going on. I know when my daughter got hers, and she's going to kill me for saying this, we went out and celebrated. We had a big dinner. We celebrated. She got her period, and it made her feel good, and it wasn't stigmatized, right? So Alexa, why did you decide to focus specifically on endometriosis and menstrual education?
So for me, it's more personal. During my sophomore year of high school, I faced very similar symptoms, including dysmenorrhea. And I also have like family members and know people with endometriosis. So I lived through my sophomore year believing that I had it and being guided to, have surgery to see if I had it and things like that. And within my research, within thinking that I had it, I discovered how many women had it and how little women know they have it. After the first symptom, women usually don't actually receive an endometriosis diagnosis until 7 to 10 years after their first symptom, which means that the problems that are caused internally can just increase and grow. And then, in case you didn't know, endometriosis is where the uterine lining grows on the outside of the uterus as well as the inside. So when the period comes, internal bleeding happens, and it's extremely painful.
Yeah, and I think it's important to bring that to the front because I don't think a lot of people understand what endometriosis is and how painful it can be, both physically and mentally as well. And it does affect women's fertility health as well as their overall health. So thank you for bringing our attention to that. So Antiksha, you just talked about raising money and getting products. What was that experience been like? Was it easy? Were people really happy to help?
So I would first of all like to thank the community for helping us in such a great way. We were only able to do this because of their support. And it was honestly wonderful being able to visit these orphanages to hand out these period pads. I was able to give some talks to these young girls about stigma and what it means to have a period in your life and how you shouldn't be ashamed of it, which is something that I wish I had gotten at that age. And it was just a wonderful experience being able to see this community come together for this cause that is so often ignored by so many people. And it was just because we took that first step.
Well, I love that because there's some cultures who they actually ban women from being around their community. They kind of isolate them in a little house until 5 days later. So I think that's really important. So Alexa, many young women, they feel uncomfortable talking about their periods. What do girls your age, what should they know?
Well, I think the most important thing is to not be ashamed. Women take up half of the population, which means half of the population have or still have their period. So feeling ashamed about talking about it it doesn't make sense. Everyone uses the bathroom and half of everyone has a period. And it's not something to be ashamed of, but also within the aspect of endometriosis, I feel like the level of pain that is normalized shouldn't be. So if you think something's wrong, if you're having an excess of pain that you just don't feel comfortable with it, you need to advocate for yourself. If your doctor won't listen to you, find another doctor. Because if there's something wrong, only you will know, and you shouldn't be pushed to feel comfortable with abnormal pain.
Great advice. Well, Tatisha, you're part of the Village School's pre-medical diploma program, right? So how has that program shaped your interest in healthcare and influenced this project?
So, being in the pre-medical diploma at my school, I've been able to talk with many doctors and many people that I wouldn't have the opportunity to be around otherwise. And it really has fostered just my passion for women's health within this space. I know when I go to university, that's really what I want to focus on, women's health and researched for women's health. And a lot of that was fostered and made possible by my school's pre-medical diploma.
Right. So Alexa, one organizations that have women like homeless shelters and women's shelters, the one thing that they do ask for are female products. So how can folks donate to you all?
We have a GoFundMe. It's the Flow Project, pushing period education. We highly encourage anyone to donate. that, faces endometriosis or not, if there are women in your life and you want to support them, this is a great way to do that, give back to your community. And all the women directly feel the impact that receive these things. And as Tatiksha knows, a lot of women in other countries too, such as India, don't have correct menstrual products and end up using unsanitary products such as dirty rags and things. And that can cause other health complications on top of dealing with a period. Period products should be available to everyone, just like toilet paper is. And we want to help with that.
Well, this is a great project. Where would you like to see the organization go for the future, and how can we keep it going after you all finish
So
school?
we want to continue, obviously, in university, expanding our network, having more people join us who are experts in their field, as well as raising more money. Of course, all the proceeds from our book currently go back towards pads for women. So all the profits from that, all the profits from the GoFundMe, just all of that all together, maybe creating a new book even. We
Right.
really hope to bring this even further than it has already.
How about you, Alexa? What would you like to see the project
Um,
go?
I believe we're on the same page, but definitely increasing our network and our expansion. So currently we've donated over 20,000 period pads and raised over $2,000. But we'd really like to see that number go up, reach more people, incentivize more people to donate, because at the end of the day, women aren't going to stop having periods. So we have to continue our efforts.
Great. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate your time and your effort. This is a great project that should be supported. And we'll have your information and a link to your socials in our show notes. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
And coming up after a quick commercial break, I'll return with some announcements. Well, as we close, we want to highlight a few events that are coming up this month. Join us at the Spring 2026 Music Student Recital for an evening showcasing outstanding HCC music students selected to perform based on faculty adjudicated video submissions. Experience exceptional talent, dedication, and artistry as these musicians bring their work to the stage. The HCC Media, Visual, and Performing Arts Center of Excellence supports creativity, innovation, and professional preparation across the arts through dynamic programs and events that encourage students and the community. And that's happening April 8th from 7:30 to 9 p.m. at the HCC Spring Branch Campus Theater 2. HCC Alumni Affairs cordially invites alumni and friends to the HCC Alumni Association Spring Networking Social at the Eastside Campus. HCC Alumni Association networking socials are high-energy gatherings to reconnect and celebrate our Eagle community in a fun, festive atmosphere at HCC. Registration for this event is required. It is happening April 14th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Eastside Campus on Rustic Street. And the Youth Teen Symposium is coming up. It's designed for youth and teens, along with their parents or guardians, to explore real-world career paths and resources to help them prepare for higher education and the workforce. Students will participate in interactive sessions at HCC's unique Digital Information and Technology Center of Excellence, exploring fields such as AI and robotics, digital gaming and simulation, cybersecurity, computer programming, and more. And that's happening April 18th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the HCC West Loop campus. And a reminder that summer semester registration is now open, so go ahead and register for your summer classes and get a head start on the semester. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you for joining us on Up to the Minute. We'll see you next time.